And so who here were at the Friday meeting?
Fortunately, I couldn't make it, so not me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is
Claire,
it?
were you at Ben's? Were you? No. Claire, were you at the Friday meeting?
From what I
Let's
saw,
quick look here.
Kotabe, Nicola, and Reiner. I think just the three of them.
Just the three of them?
Yeah.
Okay, then we don't have anybody here to update us on the Friday meeting. But let's just first do a round of intentions and distractions. And yeah, so I'll start. Intentions obviously is to host one more week with this group because Reiner's on vacation until September, I think. And yeah, and also kind of give the group some clarity on some of the projects that I'm involved in, and yeah, and who's going to take over, that kind of thing. So distraction, not really, not too much distraction today. Claire?
Hi everyone, thanks Melody. Intentions for the call today is just to get some idea of who's doing what and what's going to happen going forward. I suspect from some of the messages that I've seen that maybe we're having a bit of a pause for a couple of weeks. I'm not particularly distracted by anything. I'm just here to sort of catch up with everybody and see what's happening. I'm going to pass it to Bent. Hi, Bent.
Hi, thanks. Intentions are just to see what happened on Friday and see kind of what the direction of Connect, where that's going. Distractions, just other job duties. So I'll pass to Jess.
Hey everyone. My intention is to just sync up on all things Connect related, because I'd like to continue playing the liaison role between Connect and comms. So I'm mostly going to be listening and catching up. And distractions are just kind of been working on some content stuff, so trying to get myself out of the writing mode and more into the listening mode. I'll go ahead and pass this to Jake.
Thanks, Corey. Yeah, for me, I want to give some updates on CRM, donor survey, donor reach out, etc., as well as hear about anything new with the Connect group moving forward. Distractions, I'm a little late eating, so I'm boiling some Georgian dumplings right now, so getting a little dinner in me. I want to pass it to my buddy Ahmad.
Thanks, Jake. So my intentions are, I wanted to see if there are any updates on the Friday call, but I guess no one was here from there, so maybe not. Mainly just to see what's next for this group and what are the big projects that we're working on, and then maybe we can talk about how we can support that. Since at the moment, like I feel that it's not super clear what the next steps are for this group. So yeah, like it would be nice if we can talk about that at some point. And yeah, let me pass it to CO Dado. Sorry, I never met you before.
Hi everyone. My name is Franco.
Hey.
If you wanna just call me by my name. And my
Okay.
intention for the meeting is just listening and learning a little bit about what you do here at the Connect Working Group, and that's about it. And I have no distraction at the moment, so I'll just be listening. And back to you, Melody.
Great, thank you. So maybe like for your sake, I'll just kind of review what this group was originally created for, and now we're kind of at a fork or at a crossroad of what to do. So it's an interesting time that you joined in this meeting to listen in. So originally the group was connected, was created by myself, Claire, and Rainer, because we all have like different areas of strength in the nonprofit management area. Is really just trying to connect Giveth with the traditional social impact world and see how we can do things better with these two realms of things and give advice to the team so that we can help the team on any questions or any insights that you need to know more about social impact, because Giveth has chosen to work in this area. And it's really good to have people who know about this to kind of fill in the gap and give you that perspective. So that was originally how the Connect group is connected. We also see a gap in the one-on-one partnership development, as well as like kind of outreach to nonprofits in general, because we have communications which is more to the public, as well as community which is more internal. So that was originally why the group is created. But now Rainer is the only one steward left, and he has limited capacity. So I think last Friday, Kotabi and Nicola and Rainer met. However, we don't know what happened because none of them are here. So unless you have heard anything that can update us, we'll just have to wait until they come back or Rainer comes back. I think he will come back next week for sure to host the community call. So we'll probably have some sort of a clarity next week.
Thank you for the explanation, Melody.
Yeah, no problem. So I think maybe we can use the time to talk a little bit more tactically about the project nomination follow-ups. This was something that was brought up on the Connect channel, which I think it actually is a great topic. And we have, if you can see the token log, that we have some nominated projects that are voted by people. Some of them are great. I didn't see this last time. National Butterfly Center looks really, really great. And like just thinking maybe we should have a plan to outreach to these projects. I think there's, maybe we should, to me, I think we should just outreach to all. Yeah. Sorry, just a distraction. My son wants to eat again. So, for example, the National Butterfly Center, I really love how this person, whoever this person is, describing the project and also why this project is important to him, because it's a project that's local to his community in the deep South Texas near the Mexico border and the poorest region. So it's not only about wildlife, it's also about people. It's also about border conflicts and that kind of thing. So yeah, they're 501c charity, and doesn't seem to be related this person. So I guess we just have to think about who would outreach. Any ideas?
So I think one thing is we can tie this later to the CRM discussion,
Yes.
but I think we should put all of these projects into HubSpot, and then one of us can take it. Maybe Jake can take lead on it, like contacting them, and then like we can all work together if anyone wants to support on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Claire, for project outreach, maybe you're better.
I would say that also one of the
Yeah.
things that I've been doing this week with the Gitcoin projects is going through that Excel and doing the outreach there. So this sounds like very similar type of outreach. So maybe it's one of those things where we divide it up, or again, like Ahmad said, I don't mind helping out on this one since I'm already doing with the Gitcoin. But it sounds like just a very similar type of outreach as that issue that was created with the Gitcoin projects.
Yeah, and I love the idea of not like, I think best practice wise, it should be a CRM managed approach instead of issues with any outreach, particularly because then you can track the result better that way. And yeah, and I think the Smart Center group is also related to a community member within the Giveth community already. I think I have already outreached to that person, giving what we can. Ahmad, you have suggested that, and I have commented that we, as a partnership, because they seems to be like a giving circle. So if they can give on Giveth, they can actually grow the giving circle treasury if they want. So I think it's a great suggestion. That kind of organization, and Reiner seems to be the best one. So maybe we just migrate them into CRM and then assign.
Yeah,
different
I would
people.
just ask that once it gets migrated into the CRM, that we have some sort of process for removing it from this list. So
Exactly.
like on the issue, just comment like, I'm taking this on, or this has been migrated over and the team is now looking into outreach to it, just so that there's a status on the issues and these aren't just sitting here accumulating. We want to make sure that there's a flow. I'm curious, do any of you in this call know what happens to the token? Like if we were to close the issue, the tokens go back to the voter, or how does that work in a token log? Does anybody know? Okay, I'll look into that.
Interesting. Okay, great. So that's that. So let's decide on migrating this to CRM. We'll find out what happened to the token, and also, once it migrates, we'll assign. Some transitions from me. I have some outreach that I've been talking with the World Federation of Freestyle Football Association and Street Football. They both have more than 100 nonprofits under their wing, and one particularly is WFFA. They are gaining about 80 million fans every month, and they want to be a DAO. So they're a registered nonprofit organization in Canada, but they want to kind of adopt a DAO kind of organizational structure, and they're looking for help in that, not just as the projects, but maybe some kind of partnership, same as Street Football, which has 156 nonprofits all around the world, helping kids to use football as as an outlet for physical health as well as for community building. Those were passed over to Reiner. Reiner will continue the conversation with them. There's also a Swiss foundation. She's also created a community called Gossip, a Web3 project called Gossip, to share. I think it's about something to do with sharing. She's looking for a nonprofit to give money to. She's looking for granting, but she needs a registered organization. And from what I've been talking with Common Stack is not registered, but Giveth might be. So I also asked Rainer to continue that conversation. And project categorization revamping from Mo, Saeed, and I've asked Claire to take care of that, take over, and I've already tagged Claire on that issue. Basically, it's just really look at the categorize the project, if it's the right, categories, and also how like kind of align it with what's the causes that are already existing, so that the data can be compared with others as well. So for environment, the giving is this comparing to other. Project sign up recommendations. So from me, I will, because I'm in the social impact space, and I probably will be talking to numerous nonprofit like all the time for my future job as well. I will just keep in touch with Claire and Rainer. And if an organization that comes up that is perfect fit for Giveth, I will let them know, and then they can take from there. Today we have a project for Ukrainian women refugee orchestra in Berlin, and I've already talked to Claire about helping them to sign up and that kind of thing. CRM, Jake is taking over, and also Jake, you want to talk a little bit more about the donor survey and some updates?
Yeah. With this CRM, we went ahead with HubSpot, and I've gone in there, and if anybody has been missed, please send me your email address so I can go ahead and add you to the CRM in HubSpot. Ahmad and I are playing around with it. We've kind of today made some additional decisions on how we're going to pipeline the CRM and break it down to donors, partners, and projects. And the good thing is in the CRM, once you create those kind of pipelines, you can, as even Ashley was alluding to earlier, you can move them across the board into their separate categories. And you can go from source to source list, or shortlisted to contact initiated, contact made, highly qualified. So it has a very similar view to if you use ZenHub on your GitHub. You can kind of move them into the columns there. So I hope that will assist us in project tracking, donor tracking, and partner tracking. So the CRM is up. If there is anything needed, guidance on how to do some of that, feel free to reach out to me or Ahmad. I'll throw him under the bus. But outside of that, the CRM, just try to be as detailed as possible. The more notes you put in there and pin, or the more emails you add, it's just better. That's the point of the CRM, is to keep us all in touch, even though we're across the globe. And you can put notes in there and pin them to the top of the candidate or the contact or the company. So anything that's vital for us to know, just overdo it with the CRM. But it is up, it is live. We are creating those pipelines. They are created, and I'll continue to add as they come across, whether it's a donor, project, or partner. Ahmad, anything else to add, since you've been very helpful in this process?
No, yeah, like nothing really to add. I guess one thing we should think about, especially with the projects, is what are we offering them, or like what are the different kinds of projects that we're approaching? So, for example, Melody, you were saying that some of the projects might have different partnership structures, like a giving circle, for example. So I think like we should think about how do we talk to them differently depending on what our goals are, and like not all of them should just have like the same message of, hey, come and list your project on Giveth, but it should be yeah, like based on what kind of project it is and what we could do with them.
Yeah, that's great, because that's a good example. The give what we can. If you look at them, they're not a project per se. There are a lot of people who are giving what they can to projects that they believe in. So if we reach out to this organization or a circle of people, it's really not about the project, because they're not fundraising. It's really about how they can manage their giving and maybe earn some reward and grow their treasury, give more, that kind of thing. So I would call them a partner. So yeah, so we need to be, when we enter them, we need to have a good reason why they're in there and what kind of constituent type they are. Have some clarity on that. But it can be changed, right? If we discover that like a project is really a partner, can we change it?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
It's very fluid. It's a very fluid system, and there's some controls that at this point super admins can do, and then just admins can do. But yes, very fluid. And if anybody gets in there, and of course, like everything we do, you see something that you think would run smoother, let me know, and we can play around with it that suits Giveth the best. Because at this time, I was just trying to get something going, especially on my side, doing the donors and on the project side as well, which I'll say is my side. Starting, it's just I wanted to get something going and get some pipelines moving and get our contacts in there. So always open to something bigger, better, or smoother.
Great, thank you. You have any update for the survey?
Yeah.
I just had a quick. Could I mention something regarding the CRM?
Yes.
Just one thing I wanted to point out is if there's any of these, if there's anything that should belong in the CRM that's currently sitting in GitHub, it would be really great, I think, to migrate that over. I just noticed like a couple of issues that have been sitting pretty stagnant for months, right? And it makes sense. I get it because it's not something that just closes within a few weeks.
Exactly.
But yeah, I know. I think I saw something from Rainer, and I think there might be a couple other things. I'm not sure, but just wanted to mention we're looking at cleaning up the board. So I'm leaving them there for now, but whenever you can move them over, I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah, that's a great point, and that's why we have suggested CRM, because there are issues like this that will never close. Actually, even when they're on board, there might be other things happening. So. Jake, you have any comments on that one? And also you have any updates on the survey results? Just give us a little bit what you have heard so far from the survey.
Corey, thanks for that. And if there is anything that doesn't have something assigned, and it simply needs to be put into the CRM or uploaded, definitely don't mind doing that and assisting there. And otherwise, of course, anybody in the Connect group that's connected to that issue, I'm sure they can upload it as well. But moving into donor exploration, basically the survey was pushed out. Right now, we're close to about 40 on the response rate, which is pretty good, especially since I know there's Giveth members in our community that will be taking it as well. It's been put in the newsletter. Thank you, Ahmad. We were also going to send it out to previous donors that have kind of at least donated over one die or at least like 3 Giveth or 3 Give. On top of that, I've reached out to partner organizations that I think match the synergy of a donor survey. And we've had a pretty nice response rate with about 3 or 4 of the partners so far saying they will. One's already posted a tweet about it. So we're making some impact on that. And that's kind of where we stand on there. So if you do get an email about it because you are a previous donor, please take some time. If not, you can find it. Really, it's been posted in announcements and comms and in Connect group, or you can just reach out directly to me if you haven't got that type form. And for that will be running, at least through August. I think the initial plan is at the end of August, evaluate the responses as well as put every person in the running for those nice tokens. And that will be towards the end of August.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I look forward to the report because I think about crypto donors, there is very, very little data in the whole industry about crypto donors. So this would be quite, quite groundbreaking if Giveth can actually publish a report and on some insights about what donors want and what they want to see and that kind of thing. Motivations, that would be great.
Yeah, it'll be really nice. see what
Yeah.
type of feedback we can get. And since we just have Ashley on the call, Ashley, if you could add Melody to the donor survey results, appreciate it.
Yeah, I think I shared the spreadsheet link with you. I can grab it again. I'll
maybe I
put it
didn't
here in
check.
this agenda.
Yeah,
I'll put it in
maybe.
this agenda.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Ash.
And
But then
yeah.
also, I'm curious though, because if they're providing email addresses and stuff like that, like we would want to have a restricted access. If I'm going to post it in a public place, like maybe we want restricted access to the document.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. The
Okay.
raw data should be completely restricted. But what I'm looking forward to is to see the insights that came out of it, because you have mentioned, Jake, even that a large percentage of them wants to be in contact with the project. It is a really, really important insight that that could help in the future how to engage these donors with projects and connect them. Yeah, so some things like that is what I think should be published. Anything else? That's all I've got today. I really just was hoping, like you do, that we have some updates on where the group is going and everything. But Kotabi just joined. Yay. Kotabi, can you give us an update on what happened on last Friday? If you're there. Kotabi, are you there? Yeah, perfect.
Yes, sorry, I didn't listen for 1 second. Can you repeat?
You attended the team formation meeting on Friday. Can you give us an update on what happened?
Yeah. Well, basically, only Nicola, Rainer, and I attended at the beginning. Then Oki joined a little bit later. So from the very beginning, kind of like we thought that we didn't have the enough quorum to really decide what should go next.
Yeah.
Then, like Rainer was like told us that he will take a couple of weeks right now for like of time off, and then come back 1 week, and then he will take 3 more weeks for Burning Man. And it felt like there was not enough push to and direction to really like understand how to move forward. So we are going to have another meeting on the 11th. I will ask people that want to support with the activities that Connect, the Connect working group has been pushing forward, to join and to try to establish more clarity. We talk about different ways how we can move forward. Definitely there are, and we have seen for some time, I think Ashley and everyone has seen that there is an overlap between the communities working group and some of what the Connect group wants to do. And maybe it will make sense to just kind of like, I don't know, there are different ways how we can approach that. The Connect group being more kind of like an advisory role, and then the community's role to be more kind of like making the actual outreach. But in general, since it's mostly the same people, I think it might make sense also to put it under an umbrella. But these are just things that we discussed, like of possibilities. Of course, we have the document that Rainer drafted, which gives a lot of direction. And I think we just need to keep talking about it and find out what makes the most sense to the people that are going to be in both of these groups. So there was no answer, more questions. And basically, it's going to be like halted from now till the 11th. And then we will find out like if we're going to have 2 separate meetings, if we're going to have like 1 meeting for both working groups, if we're going to work more kind of like async, or maybe it's not weekly but bi-weekly. So all these questions are still pending. So it will be great that on the 11th, most people can join to give it direction to this working group.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Any comments from others? No?
Was there a time set for that already, Katabe?
I believe Rainer sent a message on the Connect working group, and I believe it already says it's going to be on the 11th, which is Thursday, I believe, after the community call.
After the community, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
After
you're
the
welcome.
community. Anyone else have comments? No? Anything else we want to talk about today? Okay. Yeah, so have a nice week, and I'll have a nice communication call afterwards. And I'll see you on Thursday.
Thanks, Melody.
Before we all drop off, I just had a quick question. We talked earlier about migrating the projects onto TokenLog, to the new CRM system. I don't know if I missed it. Did anybody assign themselves to doing that? Who's going to be responsible? Who knows how to enter the CRM system? Do you need somebody to stick their hand up for that, or is it covered already?
Very, very good question. Jake, would you be able to, because you're kind of the CRM person?
Yeah, sure, not a problem.
Yeah, maybe Ahmad, can you help? And there aren't that many projects actually, and I also wondering if there should be more focus on the projects that get more votes, because there are projects after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are projects that have 0 votes. So it should be an easy migration, I think. Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Have a
everyone.
good meeting.